For young children, rough and tumble play is an essential part of the learning process when it comes to limits and boundaries. That said, children need to understand what rough and tumble play entails, because sometimes they can very easily cross the line. Let's think for a second of our experiences with rough and tumble play. Did you have the chance to roll around and push around with your friends without getting hurt? Or were you more cautious as a child and didn't really engage in that sort of play? Picture this. You're playing in the playground with a group of children, and you notice a group of about 4 or 5 children engaging in rough and tumble play. They're shoving each other, they're grabbing onto each other, and you've been keeping an eye out for their play. Every so often, you would walk over and ask them, "Oh, I wonder what you're playing, it looks very interesting." And they tell you that they're playing ninjas versus dinosaurs, and they're just fighting it out. You remind them that, it's great that you have this idea that you're playing, and remember to keep in mind whether or not the other children are okay with the way you're playing, because we want to keep everyone safe. The children very happily say, "Okay," and you walk away. As you leave them to their intense battle of ninjas and dinosaurs, you're just an earshot away engaging with some other children, and every so often you turn your head to make sure that they're okay. About 5 minutes later, you hear a child begin to cry, and you see them make their way over to you, seeking your help. They begin to explain to you how another child punched them in the stomach, and it really hurt. They're crying, and they're holding onto their stomach, and they look really upset. Take a moment to think about what might have happened between the children that led to this moment. And then, think about how might you want to engage or approach this problem that is presented before you. When it comes to rough and tumble play, different people have different approaches, which is very common because we have different levels of comfort and our limits can be smaller or greater compared to another. As an educator, I see rough and tumble play as something very important for children to engage in, and so my role is to support them and facilitate their interactions as they engage in rough and tumble play. I told this child that I see that you're really upset, so let's go over and figure out what happened. I held this child's hand and we walked over to the other children that were still playing, and I asked them to come around so we can discuss what happened. I said to the group, it looks like this child is very upset. I wonder if anybody can tell me what happened. One of the children very quickly said, "We were playing ninjas and dinosaurs and he was gonna bite me, and so I had to protect myself." Then this child very quickly said, "Yeah, but you punched me really hard and it really, really hurt." Some of the other children added a few comments saying how they had to protect a gem and that they were almost going to get it, and so they really had to stop them. As these children explained what was happening, I could see this very complete picture of what they were doing. They had specific ideas that they wanted to implement into their game, and they knew their roles very clearly. Only piece that was missing was being mindful of how to protect each other as they're playing, and to remind themselves that they're only pretending. And keeping in mind everyone's safety is very important to the fluidity and continuation of their play. I reiterated what these children had said to me, and I clarified to them that the intention of this discussion is not to see who was wrong. Rather, how could they play within their idea while being mindful of one another? In the end, the child who did the punching realized that they punched a little too hard. And so, they said to the other child, "I'm really sorry that I punched you really hard. Is there something I can do to make you feel better?" The child who got punched ended up saying, "I'm okay, thank you for asking." And just like that, they went back to playing, and ninjas and dragons were back at it. In a way, with rough and tumble play, accidents are inevitable. In many ways, through these minor accidents, children are able to really test their limits with one another and understand more clearly ways that they can engage in these plays while being mindful. As adults, as individuals who seek to support young children, it's important for us to help them recognize that you can be rough, but it doesn't have to be reckless. You can keep in mind the people you are playing with while being rough, ensuring that everybody is enjoying and being safe while you're playing together. When children are given this space to test these limits, while knowing that the person supporting them is there to encourage but not stifle, then they can have the confidence to hold on to their ideas, to bring their ideas out, and to test them without worrying about being reprimanded. Rather, knowing that if they have issues, there is someone there to help them through it. Through this partnership, through this support, then together we are able to watch, think, be.